One thing that took me far too long to learn with my businesses is that in the beginning, it was okay for me to emulate what other people were doing in order to make my first few dollars. But eventually, I wanted to make a business that I could scale to 8 or 9 figures, make a real impact, and maybe exit someday. So I realized I was going to have to find a way to differentiate my business and brand from potential competitors. Now, no matter how special we like to think we and our businesses are, most of the time that's just not the case. And if you don't know who I am, my name is Chris M. Walker. I am the CEO and founder of Legiit.com, the world's only B2B growth engine that gives businesses the technology, talent, training, and tracking they need to fulfill their business goals, and Superstar SEO, a 7-figure SEO brand.
Okay, so you want me to wear more?
Look, Joanna.
Yeah.
People can get a cheeseburger anywhere, okay? They come to Tchotchkes for the atmosphere and the attitude. Okay, that's what the flair's about. It's about fun.
Yeah. Okay, so more than, yeah?
By the end of this video, I'm going to show you what I believe to be the most vital things that business owners and freelancers can do to stand out from the crowd, and what mistakes I think a lot of them are making. Now, if you ask the average business owner or freelancer what makes their business unique or why someone should choose them instead of someone else in the industry, they'll give you some pretty bad answers. I've done this before with both agency owners and freelancers, and the answers are honestly quite alarming in a lot of cases. Several people couldn't answer at all. Some would give overly complex answers that make no sense or are boring. But the most common answers were things like, we get results, and or great customer service. If that's you, I don't mean any offense by this, and I'm sorry, but that's the bare minimum, and is like a restaurant saying, we cook the food you order and bring it to you. That's an expectation, not a differentiator. So being able to answer that question is step number 1, and that's having a unique value proposition. Why are you in business, and why should someone pay you when they can pay anyone else to do the same thing? You can see this lack of originality and value proposition in these examples. All right, we're going to take a look at some websites we're going to be focusing on digital agencies for this example, but it could really be the same in any niche. First, we're going to look at some that, in my opinion, do not stand out at all. Then we're going to look at something that's kind of in the middle, and then we're going to look at some that I think are very, very good. So you can get kind of the idea of what we're looking for. The first one is one of mine. I built this a few years ago as a case study for reputation management, but I've left it there since, but it's terrible. Like you can see the stock image in the background, the cup of coffee, the scrolling thing where it doesn't really tell us who we are, who you are. You can go to learn more, and it takes you down to this thing about different services that we apparently offer, which I don't really do any of these. And it's got these like generic looking icons, and I don't even know, like this doesn't even go anywhere except back to the top. Same with that one. Same with that one, doesn't even go anywhere. Drop us a message, just goes to the contact page. Then there's a bunch of nonsense, like it's not even copy, it's just brand optimization or something here. And then some reviews, which I guess is fine, but they don't scroll. You have to like drag them. Most people aren't going to understand that. And then the footer that links to, I don't even know what socials those are. The Superstar. It's just basically a template. Like it's not a horrible design, but it's basically just a template, right? And then the same with the SEO page. It's almost exactly the same except for the words on it, which are designed to rank, but aren't designed to actually like convert. So anyhow, that's that. The about page is another thing I always look at. This one is actually not too bad, but this is something that's going to be recurring. Is this, our numbers talk about us, and then they like scrolling made up numbers that no one ever looks at, and then some FAQs that still have the lorem ipsum in it. So you get the idea. I should probably like do something about this, even though it's like not part of my business really. The next one is, and again, I don't want to pick on any of these. I don't know these people. I've just found examples, but this is bigleap.com. They have finally an SEO company you can trust. Why? Would be my answer. Why can I trust you? You know, and then generic stuff, more exposure, more customers, more milestones, so on. Then the list of companies that they've worked with that you're supposed to care about. Like some of these are, I don't know if it's true. Some of these are fairly well-known companies, but it doesn't link to anything. So there's that. What is SEO? I guess that's fine. Video, at least it has what I assume is the owner in it. I'm not going to play that. Client success stories, you know, it's fine. I actually do like having case studies. I don't like these cookie cutter images. This one is not the worst, to be honest. It's not great, but it's not the worst. Here's the counters that I told you about again. These are completely worthless. This looks very generic to me. I don't think people actually read that. This section doesn't need to be here. I guess it's testimonials, but it doesn't have like pictures that make you, I guess it kind of does. Again, it doesn't scroll very well. The whole thing, it just looks very templated and very generic. Maybe they've got a good business. I think they probably do, but this website does not stand out at all, which makes me think their business doesn't stand out at all. Too many stock images, for example, and then the contact form way down at the bottom, which I guess this probably takes you, yeah, to like a book a call page, but yeah. Anyway, that's that one. And then there's this one, which I think is even worse. I mean, if they're trying to show that they got results, but that just doesn't stand out. This form is it's a good to have a call to action up here, but it's way too big. There's a lot of empty space at the top. These awards that no one cares about. This testimonial from someone. Testimonials are good, but nobody knows who she is, I assume. This section is just hard to read. Generic text. Generic, like I think that this is a stock image. I could be wrong. More counters. Here's how it works. For some reason, they highlighted the third thing, which just doesn't make sense to me, and you can't click on the others. Generic call to action, and so on. So this one is just really bland. It's very short, which is interesting, an interesting choice. This one is Victorious SEO. Again, the badges to companies that they've worked with, it's very vague. I really doubt they've done Bitly. I don't know for sure, of course. This thing like hides behind it. This menu hides. It doesn't float correctly. This makes me think LimeWire. I don't know if anybody's old enough to remember that. Again, generic icons, boring text. The price is a choice. I don't agree with it, but it might work for them. Lots and lots of text. The start your SEO journey is not a good call to action, in my opinion. It should be the same as this. Boring icons, boring list. There's the counter again. And this is something I noticed when I was preparing for this video is this makes you think that they worked with GE, but if you click on it, collaborative partnership forges increase in organic traffic, Service Max from GE Digital. So it's not even the same. It's not even exactly GE. It's very, in my opinion, it's misleading. It's also really boring. I also apparently can't go back. There we go. Stock image, boring text, stock image, yet another call to action. Those should all be the same. Stock image, bland colors, awards no one cares about or has ever heard of, and then just a whole great big footer. So that's that one. This one is Jive Media. Here again, a bunch of awards that no one's ever heard of. Stock image in the background that has absolutely nothing to do with SEO or anything like that. More awards. This is one I fortunately didn't find too many in this example, but this is common too. What they do is they do a press release, which you can buy on Legiit for like $100 to say they've been on these sites. The counter thing, this isn't too bad, I suppose. But it's an award. It's talking about them more than it's talking about the customer. Stock image that has nothing to do with it. Video is not formatted properly. Stock image. And then tiny media, and the copyright's not even up to date. So this does not stand out. All of these, my point is that all of these are basically the same. They don't stand out in any way. They all, like, I wouldn't remember which site this was. Any of these were, if I saw them once. And then there's one more. This one, again, stock images. I do like that they have a decent looking contact form here, but they have confusing calls to action. Like they have a contact and then they have start now. So I don't know. To me, that's nothing. These mean nothing. These mean nothing. Again, this is from a press release, most likely. The text is that light gray color that's really popular with Elementor. I've never understood that. This is actually not too bad. Again, with the who we've worked with icons, I guess that's fine. I don't know. I don't think those ever help, but everybody does it. Google Partner, I mean, you might as well have that stuff. But to me, when I see that, that means that they're spending too much time doing tests rather than doing it. Again, contact, free SEO consultation, and contact, I think that they should be the same. Also, the colors are all over the place. There's yellows, there's blues, different shades of blue, boring text that's hard to read, and a bunch of awards that no one cares about, or certifications that no one cares about. So that one's, again, it's not bad. None of these are bad per se, but would you remember any of these 5 seconds after you looked at them? I know I wouldn't. And now for a mediocre example, this is my SEO business's website, Superstar SEO. It needs to be updated because, first of all, this picture is 9 years old. So there's that. And then at least I have a call to action. I've set this up as more of a blog in recent years than a SEO agency site. But again, very little text on who I am and what I do. And then it just goes to the blog, and that's pretty much it. And I just had this down here for Google Maps' sake. And that's pretty much it. Like, there's nothing, like, at least it's like got a consistent brand color, but it doesn't really stand out that much, and it needs to be redone. And same with like the blog, stock images, stuff like that. And and then just other stuff. The about page is actually decent. So that at least is not bad, but you get the idea, right? So this one is mediocre. Now let's look at some really good ones. The first up is monsteragency.com. This is the agency that does the paid ads and video for Legiit. And they have brilliant branding. You know, it's a catchy little icon thing. It's cool colors. They've got the weird looking animal monsters, whatever they are. Get your free proposal, get proposal. See how their calls to action are similar or consistent. They got a video here. I'm not going to play it, but it's hilarious. They do the client thing as well. Again, they do what you expect, but at least it's like got these cool, memorable looking things. Like if I went away from this, I would remember that site with the cool monsters rather than the generic icons. Quote here, whatever. Client testimonials. See, they actually have video testimonials, which is really powerful. They have something here from their digital billboard that makes them look really important. Another testimonial and video form that pops and stands out. Those again. Another one of those businesses, partners we trust. So you get to me, this one, and then they have these things too that no one really cares about, but if you've got them, you might as well do them. But to me, this visually is something I would remember. And I did remember it. Like this is just confirmed. I did remember it for years and ended up eventually working with them after having seen it and then coming back to it later. And then we have another one here. This is Hardcore Growth. First of all, the colors really stand out where heart meets whatever. We're not sure they tell a story about what they do that's different, which literally is the whole point of this, right? Find out what makes us different, and it's who we are, and at least who we are. And we'll look at that in a second. They show some people they've worked with as well, including Legiit. And then they tell the story of who they are. They have their packages here where you can get started, so it's easy to go buy stuff. They have pictures. This is actually the owner, and they have a call to action there. That's just a secondary call to action. They have things they have testimonials you can actually manually scroll through. I thought there was one of me on here, but I guess not. And then, of course, they have this is a stock image, to be fair, but it's one that stands out because she's kind of a unique looking young lady. And the colors are really good. And then the owner is there in a video of himself. And again, the call to action kind of stands out as well, the colors and stuff. And then if you look at the who we are page, there's actually a story of what they're in business for. Pictures of him and his family. And it's written like old school copy, so there's that. And then what we do is similar, I believe. Yeah. So this page is more of a just explain what you're doing in case it's not clear. And you get started. You see how it kind of flows. So this one is really good. And I want to show you one more. This one is zero.nyc. Let me reload it so you can kind of see the whole thing. This one is incredibly unique because, I don't even think I really have to explain what makes it unique. But out of all of the ones I've won, and I actually found them through that product they just showed. But you see, this really, really pops, right? This is something you'll absolutely remember. I kind of just want to sit here and watch this, but this one is brilliant. It looks beautiful. It's interactive. You see how the mouse cursor changes every time you mouse over it. This is an agency that really stands out and really makes you think that they're different. So hopefully you get what I'm talking about by now. I know this part of the video has gone on a bit long, but I wanted to show you what really differentiates people visually. We got a lot more to cover in this video, so I'm going to go ahead and jump back on camera now. Having a unique business isn't just about having a cool website, though. There are a lot of other things to consider. Number one is a unique value proposition. A unique value proposition is basically a statement about the benefits of your product or service, how it solves your customers' needs, and what distinguishes you from your competitors. Basically, it's the thing that you see in a lot of people's LinkedIn and Facebook profile descriptions that says something like, for target audience, your product or service is a product category that unique benefit, unlike main competitor, your product service, unique differentiator. Of course, people have managed to make that template sound generic and boring too, because so many people use it and it's kind of cliche at this point. So I ran into this problem for Legiit and have tried a bunch of different things to set us apart, both in what we actually do, but also the value proposition that we offer. And our current value proposition, unique value proposition, is this: the world's only B2B growth engine that provides businesses the technology, talent, training, and tracking they need to start, grow, and scale their business. You see, we didn't want to just be another marketplace or a SaaS product. We wanted to be something different, so we defined our own category, a B2B growth engine, which is the second thing you need to do in order to make a unique business and differentiate yourself from your competitors. Don't be just another one of those. Define your own category. Some questions I used to get that drove me absolutely insane are, so is this like Fiverr? How are you different than Upwork? Why should I use you instead of SEO clerks? Things like that. I got them for a long time, and it, like I said, it drove me up the wall, as some of you may have seen if you ever asked me that. But the truth is, it was on me because I didn't have a good answer. It took some time and some thinking about why we started Legiit in the first place, and we landed on two things. Number one is we wanted to help freelancers make a full-time living and be able to grow their brand beyond the site, the way I did in the past with other freelance marketplaces. And we wanted to give businesses everything they need in order to achieve their goals and not just be another marketplace, but be a platform. That was the first step, but it wasn't enough. And the comparisons didn't stop there, unfortunately, or maybe it is fortunate, since we ended up taking it a step further and decided in order to stop being seen as just another marketplace, we needed to define our own category. To do this, we had to think about what we were really doing and what we were really offering and what the market really needed. And just as a side note, check out the book Play Bigger for some great insight on creating your own category. We eventually decided we wanted to be the engine behind businesses' success and redefined ourselves as the world's only B2B growth engine. And by the way, if you want help growing, scaling, and diagnosing your business for free, head over to legiit.com/dashboard/start and get all the technology, talent, training, and tracking you need from the world's only B2B growth engine, Legiit. See what I did there? So consider how you can define your own category within your existing industry. Instead of being a real estate agent, maybe you are a family movement specialist. Instead of a CPA, be a forensic financial analyst. Instead of a results-driven agency, be an impact-driven growth accelerator or whatever. Come up with something that you do that is unique, that you are the only one doing. If you define your own category, you won't have to differentiate yourself from your competitors until they start copying you, which eventually they're going to do, but that doesn't matter because you're out in front of them. If you combine this with actually getting results and great service, you will have a unique business, whether you have a SaaS, a brick and mortar, or whatever. It even works if you were a freelancer, and it's how I've managed to sell $5 million in my career as a freelancer, $3 million of which came through Legiit itself. I don't mention that to like flex or talk about how great I am or anything like that. I do it for the same reason I make these videos the way I do, which is the next thing I do to build unique businesses, and that's tell a story through making content. Storytelling is the most powerful form of organic marketing, and the best part is every business owner has a story, both an origin story of how and why they started their business and an ever unfolding one as they run their business day to day. People like to buy from people, and people want to relate to who they are working with. Telling your story and documenting it as you go is probably the best way to stand out in a field of thousands or even millions of businesses just like yours. Now, some of the examples we looked at before were great at this, and others less so. But make as much content as you can, telling people who you are, where you came from, and what you're about, just like I'm doing right now. And you will have an enormous advantage over your competitors, and people will be more likely to buy what you offer. Which brings me to the final way to stand out from your competitors: having an offer that stands out. An offer is the way you package your product or service and present it to people. It's not just the things that you do. Now, we've touched on some of this already about how I did this for Legiit, so instead I'm going to talk about how I've done it as a freelancer. Freelancers, I have found, are especially bad at this, and it's likely because of the influence of low-end $5 marketplaces. They list what they do, and that's it. They don't package it in a unique way. They don't sell it in a unique way. They don't create an offer. They just offer a commodity. That's one of the reasons I've dominated freelance marketplaces where others have terribly failed. I look at what I do and find a way to package it that helps the customer and drives up the value in the service in both value provided and money made. Then I tell a story that helps the customer understand it and find it to be something that they want and need to buy. I suggest checking out $100 million offers by Alex Hormozi for more insight on this. Now, businesses by their nature are not unique, particularly unique, no matter how special we think we are. So you need to find a way to stand out in a crowded field. And if you follow these steps, you will have a strong chance of defining your own category and telling a great story that will drive people to buy whatever you offer. And if you have a freelance business and want even more tips on how to grow, check out the video that's on your screen right now.